What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. The book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon Kindle Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks everyone for supporting. But this video, though, this video is entitled Functional Black America Has Been Ignored. Now, this started back when, with that old argument about the Cosbys aren't real. I don't know anybody like that. And it also, at the same time, we got to remember 80s, Cosby's, crack era, same time, right? So families were disintegrating and destroying in that era. But as far as Black America is concerned, we have this ideology that, dysfunctional Black America is the face of Black America. The dysfunctional culture of Black America is the culture, the entire culture of Black America, when that is completely false. It's completely the opposite. Now, the thing about it is this. People seem to choose to run to the dysfunctional aspects of Black America. And I'm not talking about outside of the community. I'm talking the inside of the community. Because everybody has a functional family and a dysfunctional family in the same family tree. Whether there's nuclear family or extended family, right? We know who to talk to when we need people who got sense. We know who to talk to when it's time to act like you don't have sense, right? But for the most part, the people who got it together are ignored. Sometimes they're stuck up, bougie, think they better than everybody. These are the excuses that people use. And most of the time, sometimes they are stuck up, bougie, and all that other stuff. But most of the time, they're just functional people. And what I mean by functional is they don't go out being destructive or dysfunctional or degenerate. They make sound decisions. They may not be the most charismatic family members, right? But they're the dependable family member, the reliable family member, the family member that gets things done, the family member you send the kids to when you want them to come out right. You get what I'm saying? And, name a Black person in America, they'll tell you, that they got some family who put them on the right path. Everybody has them, right? Now, the thing about it is that family also has standards, expectations, and boundaries. And this is why in our community, those families are ignored, because they're not letting the BS slide. They don't want to hear it. And one of the biggest reasons why people ignore that family, and they know they don't want to deal with that family as part of expectations and standards, is because they're in the same family and they all came from the same place. So you can't get the excuses over on them. Not the explanations, but the excuses. So when this family came up in the same house that you came up in, and you turned out this way and they turned out that way, and it was basically based on the choices that you two have made separately in your lives as individuals, you don't want to be around them, because now, all of the you're stupid, you're a sucker, you're lame, I don't know why you did that, maybe you a sellout, you're working for the white man, whatever this is, right? They won and you lost if you're doing a comparison between win and loss between you two, as I'm using two people. So what winds up happening is I have to make my dysfunction look cool. Because see, functional Black America isn't promoting itself as functional. As a matter of fact, the Cosby Show was a portrayal of functional family, right? But if you remember the 80s and the 90s, that's what Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was. They sent Will to live off in California with the functional family, right? That's what Family Matters was. They sent, not they sent, but Steve went to be, he was a genius, but he went to kick it with the functional family, the Winslows, right? That's what Parenthood was about, because I know they took somebody in after a while. That's what Moesha was about with, what is the dude that was the next door neighbor? He was being around the functional family in the house. He actually, LL Cool J's character was a functional guy who helped, straighten out the family. But I'm using television as a reference when I say what I'm saying. Because, after that, and same thing with Different World, you saw when they would interact with each family, you saw a bunch of functional families with these college students. You didn't see too many just all over the place students. You get what I'm saying? But that's because they exist and they don't have the same experience as some of us who came up in the hood. Now, caveat to that, there are a bunch of functional families in the hood. See, just because you live in the hood doesn't mean you're dysfunctional. You may be, you just might like living around your people, or you may just have reached a certain economic plateau. That's pretty much it. But it's not like there wasn't functional families in the hood. It was just, in that essence, it was more dysfunctional families than functional families. But really it wasn't, now that I think about it, because from my experience, what it was if you were in a dysfunctional household, your extended family was near. So you can go, even in the hood, you can go to your extended family. Or your friends who had functional families, you can go over their house. So, but a lot of times when we think about our culture, we ignore the functional people. These are the people who, hooked you up. Like I can say in my own family, I got state representatives, professors, some retired, businessmen. I know some doctors. Not necessarily is a such and such a lawyer. Let's just put it like this: pretty much run the gamut. Corporate America, blue collar America, the educational aspect of it, entrepreneurs, athletes. But how did this happen? Because it was a bunch of functional families. Like, do we come from dysfunctions? Yeah. And I can say that because when you look at the functional guys, like I said, they're not advertising themselves. You're not seeing them plastered all over the media as what they're doing, because they're so busy living. They're not concerned about promotion. They don't care about promotion, because a lot of functional families are not really into television like that. They're not in the movies, depictions, and negative imagery. You notice every time you have a family reunion, you know what music is allowed and what music isn't allowed. You know who houses you can go to that you got to straighten yourself up before you get in there, no matter how buck wild you might be. You know this already. But people just act like these people don't exist. And it's to the point, even that when people have non-black friends, they know not to go to your functional family members' houses and try to act a fool. Because they know, these people, they're living good, they're good people, but they demand a certain amount of respect. That's what it is. So ultimately, over the years, we're trying to, the dysfunctional Black America is trying to hijack the face, but ultimately, what winds up happening is they keep running back to ask for help from the functional family. So by default, you already know who's actually the face. Well, whether he's the face, the backbone, the foundation, whatever you want to call it, we know who really is the important person or important family in action. So just had to say this one. We out. Y'all have a good one. Peace.